Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Pretty much ever since Caldera launched and the whole Vanguard integration happened for Warzone, we've been talking a lot about the weapons, and since then there's been a lot of changes to the weapons. We've already seen several different weapon tuning updates go live that changed quite a few of the better weapons in the game, honestly. And specifically when it comes to Caldera, you'll probably notice through gameplay, the vast majority of your fights on this map are at a range. There's just so much open space to run through. There's so many different, environment-based gunfights that are from the top of a hill down to a lower part of the hill. It's very different from Verdansk, where there were a lot of like building fights and close quarters fights there. Here, range is, predominantly that main factor in gunfights. And today I want to look at the best weapons for those ranged fights and really break down the long range meta. So, as we go through it all today, if you enjoy the video at any point or if you find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. It would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, we are on the road to 800K. We're getting super close, and it'd be awesome if we could hit that before the end of the year. And right around 57% of viewers watching are not already subbed to the channel. So if that's you and you want to stay up to date with everything going on in COD, this is the best place to be, so feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. Also, quick reminder that right now code Immortal is still boosted to get you 30% off your entire G Fuel order. They just dropped the brand new sugar plum flavor and a couple of other new holiday based things. So if you want to grab anything from the G Fuel site, a tub, a shaker, a starter pack, anything like that, code Immortal has you covered. So the first weapon we gotta talk about when it comes to the long range meta is the Cooper Carbine. And honestly, when it comes down to it, this is sort of the do-it-all weapon right now. I mean, for close range, you can use it as a pocket SMG, or you could use it for long range, and it is still very good. They did actually just end up nerfing it, but really when it comes down to it, this thing can hold its own in just about any single gunfight imaginable in this game. I am loving this thing. Super easy to use, great damage, great control, like all around. It is the do-it-all weapon, like I just said. So first up here, as far as the attachments go, we are going for the Mercury Silencer, keeping us off the radar, giving us some better control. And while we do lose a little bit of damage range, we gain that back pretty easy with some other attachments. For the barrel here, there's a couple of good options, but I feel like the 22-inch Cooper Custom is the best choice here when it comes down to it. You get a better fire rate, which is pretty ideal, and you also get better control as well. So overall, it's just pretty solid for medium to long range fights. The Ragdoll, though, is also pretty good as well. Better velocity, better range, better control. You could definitely experiment around with both of these and see which one you personally like more. I just feel like the Cooper Custom 22-inch is a little bit more consistent. For the optic here, I go for the Slate 2.5 times custom. This is sort of like my preferred optic on most weapons in the game right now. It's just clean. It does help reduce the recoil a little bit as well. So all around, I feel like it's pretty solid. I go for the padded stock in this case. Better control during sustained fire is really the only pro that we're looking for there, and that's going to help out keep your shots accurate. Carver foregrip, as we know, is the best foregrip for recoil control. Pretty much same deal here. You want to be as accurate as possible over range. For the magazine option, I'm going for the 30 Carbine 45 round mags. Better damage, better velocity and range. All around the go-to setup here for a ranged fight. Like obviously you want to have the best velocity, the best damage range possible. That's just the no-brainer choice when it comes down to it. I'm also running lengthened here for that better bullet velocity. Huge pro to have, especially for ranged fights. Polymer grip for increased accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. Again, the recoil is what we're focusing on there. I go for vital here. Give me that increased torso damage. Help out with the shots to kill if you're landing shots to the chest, neck, or head. And then finally, we go for fully loaded. Pretty much the only perk worth using on most rifles and regular primaries. Now, next up, we got to talk about the bar. This thing is definitely one of the more high-risk, high-reward weapons. It's very unforgiving if you're missing your shots because it does have that slow fire rate, but if you're able to land your shots, this thing just eliminates everyone. It erases them. It just hits like a truck. It's so powerful, it fries players. But like I said, it's that higher skill gap weapon where you do got to learn to be very accurate with it, or you are going to suffer the consequences and you will get outgunned because that fire rate is pretty unforgiving. But I'm loving this thing. It is great for ranged fights. First up, going for the Mercury Silencer yet again, same deal as before. For the barrel, I'm going for the 27-inch 2B barrel. Better accuracy, better control, better damage range. That's super crucial here. I see a lot of players running the 30-inch barrel, but all this does is give you better accuracy. Flinch, according to True Game data, is not really working on weapons, so that's not a big deal there. Reduced scope sway and gun bob is not the biggest thing in the world, especially when the 27-inch is doing the same thing, but it's increasing your damage range, so it makes no sense not to run the 27-inch barrel. Going for the 2.5 times custom scope yet again. Going for the WR stock in this case. Better aiming stability, better control is what we're looking at there. Carver foregrip yet again. Lengthened yet again. Polymer yet again for all the same reasons as before. Going for the 50 BMG 40 or 30 rounds. Doesn't really matter which of these you're using, totally down to personal preference. If you want to be a little bit slower but have more ammo, run the 40. If you want to be a little bit quicker, run the 30. It really does not matter, so long as you are using the BMG rounds there for better damage, better velocity, and better range. I'm going for hard scope here, better recoil and sustained ADS, and then also fully loaded once more. Now, another weapon I gotta mention is the XM4. Yes, this thing is still running the long range meta, even the medium range meta as well when it comes down to it. They just haven't touched this since the integration. It's still one of the better options in the game. I mean, it's low recoil, has great range and velocity because it's a Cold War weapon, good mobility as well, like all around. Because it hasn't been nerfed in really any big way since the update, it's still worth running in pretty much every single situation. I mean, the thing is just a laser beam when it comes down to it. The setup is pretty standard for a rifle from Cold War. Agency and task force for the best control, range, and velocity possible. 3x optic is pretty much the go-to in all cases. Fuel age and grip for the better control, and then also the 60-round mag because you got to be running an extended mag on pretty much every single weapon. So standard setup, but it does the job and it does it well. Now, obviously, if we're talking long range, you can't go without mentioning some snipers. And in my opinion, the Vanguard car is one of the most consistent choices in the game. Yeah, the Type 99 feels pretty solid. It doesn't one hit to the chest anymore, which is unfortunate. The 3-line also feels pretty good, but the car just has that familiar feeling. It's just like the MW car in a lot of different ways. It's got good flinch resistance, great velocity, really good speed as well, and mobility for what it is worth. So like all around, I just feel like the Vanguard car is the most well-rounded sniper, and it's the one that I've been finding the most success with after trying all of them out. So this is my personal choice here. The setup for all the snipers is pretty much the same, but here on the car, of course, we're going for the Scout silencer first and foremost. The recoil control does not matter, but on the SD silencer, the accuracy doesn't matter, and I'd rather have a worse damage range than a worse ADS on an already kind of slow ADSing sniper, and you get that damage range back just like over on the rifles. And of course, you're staying off the radar as well. I go for the VDD 2K barrel. Better velocity is really the main pro there, but also upper extremity damage, so you're doing a little bit more damage to those extremities, which is pretty nice. Can help potentially get those knocks a little bit easier. I go for the night vision on all of my snipers from Vanguard just because having that thermal ability is allowing me to see enemies so much easier when they're in the trees, when they're in the forest, when you have all the leaves and everything blocking your view on a normal scope. This really highlights them well. I feel like it works pretty good. Also, as of right now, it does help increase that ADS speed a little bit. I go for the short stock, better movement speed, better ADS. That's really what I'm going for there. Heavy foregrip, you get no cons, but you get a better aim walking steadiness and aiming stability stats. So solid pros there. I go for the 5-round fast mag, just basic ammo reload animation instead of having a single chamber every single shot, so a little bit quicker there. Lengthened, obviously, because we want that better bullet velocity. Fabric for a better ADS speed. Shrouded to keep that glint concealment on there, makes me a little bit harder to spot if I'm shooting at an enemy. I feel like Frenzy could also be pretty good, as could Quickscope, but Shrouded to me just seems the most beneficial. And then finally, fully loaded once more. Another weapon I feel like I gotta mention is the Bruen, primarily because this is one of the very few weapons in the game where the damage drop-off is almost non-existent because of a specific barrel here. If we go ahead and look at the attachments, Mercury silencer yet again, but the Royal barrel here, better control, better velocity, reduced scope sway, and then also damage does not diminish over range, which is huge. 2.5 times scope yet again. The BH stock for better control, better aiming stability. Carver yet again, lengthened polymer, same deal as before. The 50 BMG rounds, better damage, better bullet velocity and range. You can't go wrong with that. This thing does take a lot to control, just like the bar. It's slow firing, heavy hitting. You got to work to use it, but it definitely pays off if you're a solid player. Tight grip for better control while in sustained fire while you continuously fire. Then also fully loaded yet again. And then lastly, we got to mention the STG. This is a pretty balanced long range rifle right now. I feel like it is just your very mid-tier one that you can't go wrong with. Like, it's very easy to use. A lot of casual players who maybe don't have the best recoil control will probably flock to this. It's just very straightforward, very balanced, just like the M4 was, just like the Grau was. It's simple, but it gets the job done. As far as the setup here goes, pretty standard yet again. Mercury silencer, 760mm barrel for better range, better control. You'll love to see it. 3.25 times scope on this for me is what I like. I've tried the 2.5 times, and for whatever reason, it just seems a little bit more zoomed out than on some other weapons. So this one works well for me, and also you get better control out of that as well. Weighted stock for better control and aiming stability. Carver, lengthened polymers, same deal as before. I go for the standard 60-round drums. They work just fine. You don't need the 30 Russian short here for the great TTK. It just makes it a little bit more risky in those long-range fights, so 60 is playing it safe and it works just fine. Vital for the increased torso damage yet again, and fully loaded to no one's surprise. And with all that being said, those are the weapons that I feel like stand out the most in the current long-range meta in Warzone. That's going to wrap things up for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, or if you found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, feel free to do so. That way you can always guarantee you are up to date with everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.